I was also thinking, like, do you do like gene stealer cults or something? Only because there's loads of models and I take forever. So
we're very.
It's very bright, isn't it?
Bright.
Is it too bright?
It looks like we're being abducted.
Is it too bright? Do you think
we're
I should
about
check
to
the camera?
ascend to the heavens?
Let me check the camera.
But
You talk to the people.
I mean, I could do gene stealer cults.
It's only because you don't have them.
Yeah. I can just do 30 gene stealers, 30 aberrants.
How's that?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks much better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's like we've been fucking sitting in the sun. Oh. Good, yeah.
I think you look brighter because you've got a white muff, haven't you? And mine's darker.
I didn't bring my shoulder muff today.
No?
Because my tunic hasn't turned up yet.
Oh.
So it might be me and you playing on Thursday where I give them what they paid for in tunic and white muff.
Yeah, but we're not playing Age of Sigmar, are we? So.
No, but I didn't say I would do it for Age of Sigmar. I said I would do it for Space Wolves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but what could I do into Space Wolves?
We were talking about I should probably say hello actually. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this grim, shitty Tuesday here on the south coast of the UK. It is disgusting outside. It could be mistaken for the Nordic fjords here right now because it's grim and windy and rainy and horrible. Just the sort of weather for Vikings. And tonight we will be bringing wonderful Space Wolf Vikings for you beautiful human beings against something that Paddy's bringing. I don't know what it is yet. I think he wants to run the new sisters that he's painted. But I'm not sure what he's bringing yet. We'll have to wait and see.
I said he should run Thousand Suns.
I know, but every fucker's going to be doing that.
Yeah, but we'll be the first.
Are we the first?
What did Tactics do? Because they would have done it at 10 o'clock on Saturday.
I don't know.
What did Tactics do on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock?
So we are here today to talk about something not quite fully Space Wolfy, but we do have the beautiful... I almost forgot the Codex as well. I almost left that at home because it's on my desk for the last fucking 3 weeks.
I tell you what, I don't know if it's our cameras, but the Codex is stunning.
It's pretty,
right?
isn't it?
But there's something about that Canon camera that really makes the fancy Codex pop.
Yeah.
Because it makes the darker bits darker, but the brighter background colour really vibrant.
Because we have very expensive cameras, Joe.
It was Thousand Suns we had on there the other day, and that was popping as well.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Like,
So what we thought we'd talk about today, we do have the book here. We can talk about Space Wolves. If you've got questions, feel free to stick them on postcards for us, otherwise known as super chats, and we can answer questions. We did a little bit with this last night as well on stream. And then what we've also got in front of us, which we're very lucky because Games Workshop send us a copy of it every time, is the brand new chapter approved 2025 mission deck. No longer called Pariah Nexus or Leviathan or anything narrative. It's just called the chapter approved mission deck. And I say we're lucky because Games Workshop sent it to us, which means we haven't got to fuck around trying to find ourselves a set. And I say that because this is a thing that they cannot seem to get right depending on the way you look at it. So I think what they have got right at this particular point in time, having read through it a couple of times, we yet to play it, is the actual mission deck.
oh yeah, Dex.
I think that is incredible. It's a great mission deck, and I would suggest that even if you're not a competitive player, pick it up. And this is where they don't get it right, because you can't.
It is weird that the one specific box that you need to play the game with, you can't buy because they didn't make enough. You would have thought the minimum requirement is they'd look at the ITC with the amount of registered playing gamers on the planet. They go, that's the minimum requirement. So every single one of those registered people could be able to have it.
Yeah.
And then maybe double that because there's a lot of people that probably play a lot that aren't registered. And there's people that just want to have it.
And there's certain other places that you can go to, like Russian websites, where you can pick up these rules for free and use them. And Games Workshop obviously want to discourage that. And the best way of discouraging that is actually make your fucking product available. How do you do this every time?
But we've had this discussion many, many times. I think that there is someone high up at Games Workshop which thinks that you don't have warehouse space problems if you don't have stock to sell. If it sells out immediately, problem solved. Right?
I just don't understand it. I don't understand how this is at this point in time, right? This is a core fundamental requirement to play the game.
Where's it made?
Manufactured by Games Workshop Limited, Willow Road, Nottingham. That's what it says.
So it's printed in Nottingham then?
Possibly. No, made in China. Designed in the UK, made in China. So it's not even like it's made in fucking China, for Christ's sake. Those motherfuckers can mass produce.
Yeah.
Right? This is a core fundamental for playing Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Right? For playing Games Workshop, for playing Warhammer 40k from Games Workshop. Yeah. This is a thing that everybody needs to have. And we now get to a point where you go to events and event organisers are having to make contingency plans to be able to ensure that you're able to play. We went to Tactics. Remember that friendly event at Tactics?
Yeah.
And they're like, if you haven't got the mission cards, don't worry. Because they're often out of stock. The other thing as well, they sit on a 12-month rotation. And after the first release, I think the last 2 times they've been out of stock for about 6 months.
And the problem is, if it's out of stock for 6 months, the longer you go for being able to provide it in a 12-month period, the less likely people are going to buy it after the first 6 months. Because they'll be like, well, it's just a countdown now to the next one.
Well, also, they'll be like, I found other ways of using it.
Yeah.
I found Warhampedia.
Or, I've got one, and my friend doesn't, so we'll just use the one deck.
It's just cash left on the shelves.
Yeah.
Yet again, it's cash left on the shelves. I don't understand. They're also one of the only companies I'm aware of that, and this is more complex than what I'm about to make it sound, and I'm aware of that because I'm not daft and I run business, but the pre-orders normally give you an indication of how many you should make, but that's not what GW does. Here's a pre-order. At this point, I don't understand. Here's a pre-order. We've sold out of all the ones we've got. So at the point at which things go on pre-order for Games Workshop, they already exist. They're already in the shops. And they're already in the independent retailers. They're already in the Games Workshop warehouse. Well, so if at that point, why do a pre-order? Just let you buy it and fucking release the thing straight away. What's the point?
I think so. There will still be a stock allocation so that Games Workshop stores have it for 10 o'clock on Saturday. So there is a chance that every store is allocated 6 boxes, which is a pitiful amount, right? It's like Southampton Games Workshop got sent 2 Lord Cacophonists.
Did you get one?
No,
No.
because I turned up late because I was like, there's no point because the guy when I spoke to him, there was a literal queue of people at the door.
Yeah.
Do you know what it didn't sell? Any of
Fulgrim?
Fulgrim. I think they probably still got 6. So I think like the thing is, there's simple ways that they can figure out how many they need to produce by going, how many Warhammer Plus subscriptions do we have? Because those people are going to be using the app to. How many people are who are actively using the app to create lists because they have that data?
Surely they also get data like website hits, right?
Yeah.
And independents requesting numbers of stock. So I was already concerned before pre-order on Saturday with a number of independents that are saying we don't have enough allocation, we're already taking pre-orders, blah blah blah, right? So independents were already going, we haven't got many. So I was like, I'm hoping what's happened is Games Workshop have actually and I say this as a person who's about to soon be an independent retailer. This doesn't benefit me, but I'm hoping what's happened is they've held back a load of stock from independents to make sure they've got more, but they've actually produced more of it anyway. That doesn't seem to be what's happened because they have still sold out of chapter approved on the Games Workshop website for the mission deck, and all the independents pretty much have sold out as well.
How long do you reckon the printing process is in terms of made to order for books and paper from China?
It can't be hard. The longest turnaround is going to be shipping it to the UK.
Which is like 2 weeks.
Ish, yeah, I guess.
And then distribution in the country, so like a month. So they could say, halfway through an edition, pre-order your next deck now. They could literally make...
You just have to do a register interest button.
Yeah.
Just register interest.
Yeah, made to order. I think made to order means that they've confirmed sold it before it's even been.
And they've also done made to order. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, this isn't about. What I don't want to do is whinge too much. There is a part where the title itself says the greatest mission deck you can't buy, and that's because it is sold out very, very, very frequently. And I don't know if there's many mainstream places I found a couple of like super rare small hobby shops that managed to get 2 sets in. I might have one, but they like most of them are being found and gone because Google exists.
I think like if you know of a local shop that doesn't have a great website presence, internet presence, find them.
Well, no one's got a great internet presence.
But what I'm saying is like so in Minehead, right? There's an indoor market.
Yeah.
And there's and it sells like crystals, glass plaques, pictures of sheep and hills and things, toffee, and then that one, and then there's that one guy with the Warhammer stand that sells it actual Games Workshop full price, so he never fucking sells anything because the internet exists. But he's always got new product in there because no one wants to buy it full price. But however, when the stuff sells out on the internet, I do know people that know that it exists and goes there and buys it. So what we need is like a Facebook page dedicated to selling product for these really shit little shops.
Yeah.
Because I know of a couple in like Taunton, my head area, that have no websites but always have stuff.
Yeah, it's a shame that people can't seem to get hold of it. And actually, do you know what? Genuinely, chat, it's a genuine shame people can't get hold of it, because I think we've had now in 10th edition, we've had Leviathan, followed 12 months later by Prior Nexus, and now followed by this. Leviathan, I thought was okay, but I think majority of people felt like they were getting a bit fatigued and burnt out on it by the end of Leviathan, right? And I was certainly one of those people. It's one of the reasons why I got so excited about 4th edition Age of Sigmar. I was feeling a bit burnt out on early 10th and early Leviathan. Credit to Games Workshop where credit's due, and there is an argument to this point I'm about to make where you could just say, get it right in the first fucking instance, you have to do all this work. But what they have done is they've done all this work to get 10th edition to what is a relatively reasonable place. I think it's a lot of fun right now. I think it's quite balanced. I'm enjoying it. I went to a casual event at Tactics, had a great time, went to Beachhead, enjoyed myself, right? Yeah. So I think they've done the work, and yes, it means that there is rules in 47 places, and there's loads of stuff that came out in the rulebook that now is no longer relevant. That rulebook they still sell, by the way. That's no longer relevant. Granted, they could have just got it right in the first instance, but at least they've worked to fix it. At least they haven't gone, la, everything's fine. When they brought out Prior Nexus, that kind of got me more interested and more excited about 40k because it was a better version. They then had to tweak the way that secret missions worked throughout Prior Nexus because the old secret missions in the first edition just weren't used because they were terrible, and they made them too good. But again, it was listening to feedback, looking at how people were using them and making tweaks. And then this came through. And this came through a little while ago, and I anxiously, I guess, opened the mission deck. And I was a bit concerned because I figured they would have to make lots of sweeping changes to make it different enough to the last mission deck to get people to go and buy it and play it. Actually, they don't need to do that because, you know, if it's the tournament edition you're playing at tournaments, you're going to need to have the latest version of it. This is fucking brilliant, in my opinion. And there's a number of reasons why this is brilliant. And it's not quite perfect for me, because I still want some form of Maelstrom of War deck to play casually. But with the inclusion of asymmetric missions and asymmetric deployments, the way that the twists work now instead of mission rules, the things they've taken out, the things they've put in, the way they've tweaked certain secondaries, this is, for me, as close as they've been to a perfect mission deck.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'd agree, yeah.
So if you're unaware, there has been minimal to no changes to primary missions. There's a couple that have gone away. There's one that's been added in. One that used to be a mission rule that's now an actual primary mission. The mission rules have changed. They're now called twists. There's some really fucking fun and cool ones in there, which I'm a big fan of.
I don't think we'll see many twists at tournaments, though.
I think what they'll do is what they've done previously is they'll have, here's your preset mission decks. These are the twists to use.
Yeah.
Don't use the silly ones.
But I think a lot of the twists are... Game breaking is too much of a word to use, but they're so incredibly strong that some armies that can really, really amp off of them.
Yeah. So you get your little card that comes in it as well that tells you how to play the game, how to set up your missions, etc., when to do things, VP to limit discarding cards, actions, who can do actions. Have a read through these. Go on.
Did they change when you can discard missions?
For new orders?
Was that a thing?
New orders is still at the end of each player's turn. Each player using tactical missions does the following, starting with the first player. First, you score one or more victory mission decks, discard that secondary mission card it is achieved. Then you can discard one or more of your active mission cards. Do this, you gain a CP. If your secondary mission deck runs out, you cannot generate any additional secondary missions. New orders are a thing you use in your command phase. At the start of your command phase, draw 2 cards from your secondary mission deck. These 2 secondary mission cards are active until you achieve them. At the start of each of your subsequent command phases, if you have fewer than 2, draw from your secondary mission deck until you have 2 secondary mission cards. At the end of your command phase, you can spend a CP to use a new order stratagem, so you write. So it's the same.
Yeah.
It talks about incursion motions, setting parameters, etc. Deployment card, discarding cards, VP limits, etc., etc., and blah. I don't think it gives you Challenger cards. Here it is. This is the new part for you people. A player becomes a challenger if at the start of the battle round they have fewer victory points than their opponent.
So the wording on discarding is each player can discard at the end of each player's turn.
At the end of each player's turn, each player using tactical missions does the following. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that has changed then.
Yeah,
okay,
so it means that
so I could discard at the end of your turn.
Yeah, so it means that cards that take 2 turns to get done at the end of your opponent's turn, if they've made it so you can't score it, you can then.
I had actually missed that wording. That's even better again then. So I'm still calling this close to perfect. That's even better than I thought. Right. So a player becomes a challenger if at the start of the battle round they have fewer victory points than their opponent, and the difference between their victory points is 6 or more. That player remains the challenger until the end of the battle round. When you are the challenger, draw 1 challenger card at the start of your command phase. Each challenge card presents 1 stratagem and 1 mission. You can complete the mission, or you can use the card as a stratagem. You cannot do both. Note that both players use the same deck for challenger cards. Rules cannot change the cost of stratagems on a challenger card, and rules that generate command points cannot be triggered by the stratagem on a challenger card. At the end of your turn, if you have not used a stratagem or completed that mission, discard the card. If you use that stratagem or complete that mission, discard the card. Right, that's a new section to it. Right, challenger cards. Challenger cards, I actually love. We'll go into it in a second. Right, you then get your 6 little missions, little objective markers. I'm still yet to put ours on the website, but don't use these by ours when they come out because they're nicer and you don't have to measure with a tape measure. And then we get into the missions. Right, primary missions have basically not changed. They've lost 2 and gained 1. And the one they've gained, Mr. Joe, is hidden supplies. Hidden supplies used to be a mission rule, and it required you to add another objective and move an objective. It still requires you to do that, but instead it's a primary mission rule. And then at the end of your command phase, the player whose turn scores victory points as follows: 5 victory points for each objective marker you control in No Man's Land. 5 victory points if you control an objective in No Man's Land. 5 additional victory points if you control 2 objectives in No Man's Land. It's not within your deployment zone, so you can hold your opponents, right? And then there's an additional 5 if you hold more. So it's hold 1, hold 2, hold more, but the hold 1, hold 2 has to be outside your deployment zone. The hold more can include the one in your deployment zone.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we've still got Taken Hold with no change. We've got Burden of Trust with no change, Linchpin with no change, Scorched Earth with no change, Purge the Foe, and Terraform the Ritual.
Apparently, Terraform is a big change.
Terraform. Oh, so Terraform is it a big change? Is Terraform the big change, or is it the other one I'm thinking about? Burden of Trust is the one where you. It's Burden of Trust where you have to hold your home objective.
Yeah.
2 victory points for each of their units.
No, Burden of Trust is the one where it's like guarding, isn't it?
Yeah, that's essentially similar. So maybe it is Terraform that's changed. So so you get 1 victory point for terraforming, but importantly, you can terraform an objective that your opponent's terraformed, and you take it off them. Becomes yours then as well.
Yeah, but no, you take it off them, and then you have to reaction to then terraform it.
1 or more units from your army, each within range of a different objective marker that's not within your deployment zone. It completes at the end of the turn if the unit performing this action is still within range of the same objective marker and you control that objective marker. If completed, each of the objective markers is terraformed by you. If that objective marker was terraformed by your opponent, it no longer is. So you don't have to do it twice, you just do it once.
Oh, I think when I read it, I was like, you terraform it, and then your opponent has to unterraform it and then terraform it.
No, it says if completed, each of those objective markers is terraformed by you, and if that objective marker was terraformed by your opponent, it no longer is. So he no longer gets the points, which is then it's now down to 1 victory point as well, rather than being 2. Hidden supplies we've just talked about,
and it scores both turns.
Does it? Each player scores 1 victory point for each objective marker that is terraformed by them at the end of the turn. Yeah, they do. It is both turns. Cool. So yeah, some tweaks there. Terraform is better, much better, because no longer can your opponent rush in early game, terraform 2 objectives and go, well, you just can't catch me up now because there's only 3 in No Man's Land. So Terraform is much, much better. I like the hidden supplies one. I like the change. Unexploded ordnance, I still don't think we just play that ever. Everything else is very similar. I like it. I'm a fan. Primary missions, no real changes there.
I'm surprised they put unexploded ordnance in, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really plays it,
I don't think I've ever played it, because it's just it's a fun narrative mission. It's just not a great tournament mission.
Supply drop also hasn't changed, really. And then you've got the deployment maps. They're all the same as previous for
they changed
Strike Force.
The measurements.
They look cool.
10, 6, 20.
I think the measurements are all the same. Then we get into twists, chat, right?
Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah. So
All
then we
the
get
same,
into twists. I'm keeping them in my nice little pretty order because I'm currently adjusting our scoreboard ready for tonight. We get into twists. I like the twists a lot. Twists really excite me, like genuinely excite me, because I think they've done a good job with twists. So twists is, from what I gather, twists have replaced the old mission rules.
Twists yes.
They've replaced the mission rule. So you used to have primary mission rule, deployment map.
Yeah.
You've now got primary mission, twist, deployment map. I prefer it. It's cleaner. It's nicer. It makes more sense. I'm a big fan of these. Some of them are bonkers.
Some of them are
Mental. Some of them, and this is why I like them.
me and Liam had a discussion earlier, and I was saying I think the Emperor's Children were balanced to this deck. And I think that's why they don't have any shooting.
I like these because I can see some of these that will be used for your set missions for competitive play.
Yeah.
And I see a bunch of these that are for fun missions for playing on stream or playing at home with your friends. And I am more about the latter than I am about the former.
Yeah.
So we have asked forever to come away a little bit from just competitive play. These help that because some of them are bonkers.
These, I think they really lean into club play, and also the level of insane fun hero hammer that will come out of those is great.
Apparently, twists aren't in use in Tournament Companion according to Art of War. That wouldn't surprise me, but I want to use them all the time because I love them.
I think for us,
For streams, unless we're doing Tournament Tuesdays, for streams, I'm all about these. So let's go through them and we'll talk about them a little bit each one. The first one, Joe, is night fighting. Each unit can only be the target of a ranged attack of the attacking models within 18 inches.
So everyone gets blown up.
Designers note, I love this by the way, this is incredible. Designers note, this is a great twist for players who do not yet have a full battlefield's worth of terrain.
Yeah.
It's fucking great, that, isn't it? Well done, GW. Like that's every unit basically gets 18-inch loan up. If you haven't got loads of terrain, you've got minimal terrain, and your friend plays Tau and you play World Eaters, night fighting. It's fucking great.
But also, Emperor's Children are mad on that. I'm going to hide 18 inches away from you, and then advance and charge and kill you. You could do nothing.
So that, I think, is great. We've then got Ruinscape. Each time a unit makes a normal or advanced move, it can move horizontally through terrain features. So
say that again?
Each time a unit makes a normal or advanced move, it can move horizontally through terrain features. So terrain is not a thing for vehicles, monsters, bikes, cavalry, beasts, etc. Just move through terrain.
Yeah.
Which, on the one hand, is a bit sad for those armies that have specific abilities that allow certain units to move through terrain features because it makes it null and void. But this is not competitive. This is twist. This is fun stuff. So everything can move through terrain features.
But that mission means you bring in white scars. We'll bring this one tonight because it means your white scars will function.
Things work properly. Yeah.
It's really good.
It's very good.
It does also make Outriders bonkers good.
It does, yeah. I need to talk about Outriders anyway. I need to work out how to convert them for. This is all part of the Crusade stuff I want to talk to you about later, chat. We've then got twist Martial Pride, Joe. Mm-hmm. Advancing does not make a battle line unit ineligible to start an action, excluding vehicle units. Starting an action does not make a battle line unit ineligible to shoot. So you can advance an action, and you can action and shoot. And if you've got assault weapons, you can advance action and shoot.
I like it.
That's one that I could have seen being competitively used if they were being used. Apparently they're not. But that's one because it's sort of similar to one we had before. The mission one we had before, right? Rapid escalation. In the first battle round, players can set up units from their strategic reserves in the reinforcement step of their movement phase. If they do, those units must be set up wholly within 6 inches of any battlefield edge, but no model in those units can be set up within the enemy deployment zone. A unit set up in this manner cannot be set up using the Deep Strike ability. The maximum points total of units set up in this way is 200 for incursion and 400 for strike force and asymmetric war missions. Another one that I could have seen being used competitively because it's very similar to a mission we've got right now.
Yeah.
Basically, you could bring a unit on turn 1 in strategic reserve without using Deep Strike, which is quite cool, right? Love it. Adapt or die is a cool twist. Once per battle at the end of the player's turn, after scoring any victory points, they can discard one of their secondary mission cards and replace it with another secondary mission card that has the fixed mission symbol if they're using fixed missions. If they're using tactical missions, twice per battle, after drawing a secondary mission card, that player can draw another secondary mission card, then shuffle one of those secondary mission cards back into their secondary mission deck. Again, a one that I could have seen being used competitively because we have something similar now.
Yeah.
Adapt or die. Would have been, so those last three I think would have been fine for using competitively, to be honest with you. High Octane, you don't roll to advance, you just auto advance 6. Probably not something to be used competitively.
Yup.
Your Emperor's Children would like that, Jay, wouldn't
Emperor's
they?
Children would be cray.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It does, however, make their reroll your advance roll detachment pointless.
Yeah.
So if you pick the reroll advance roll detachment, we just would never use that twist.
Yeah. The strats in that one are okay, but overpriced.
Yeah. Bloodlust. I like this one a lot. A unit is eligible to declare a charge within 18 inches of one of my units instead of 12. When doing so, roll 3d6.
That's good.
Well, actually, it doesn't say that. It says each time you make a charge roll 3d6.
Oh, so you make a 3d6 charge
No matter
regardless
what.
of...
If you're 6 inches away, you make a 3d6 in charge, Joe.
Yeah. It's a banner of blood on everyone.
Yes, Banner of Blood on everyone. Also, one I was like never going to be used competitively because you know that's mad. But I am thinking about if we can use some of these twists at Hobby House and just play them anyway because fuck being super competitive. You've then got Point Blank is one of my favourites of all time and one that we shall never let Paddy use with Tau.
Yeah.
Ranged weapons, excluding blast, have the pistol ability. Thank fuck it excludes blast, right? And then my favourite one of all time, Jay. My favourite twist. Lords of War. Until the end of the battle, add 3 to the attacks characteristic of each weapon equipped by Warlord models, excluding vehicles. You say that, but Abaddon?
I mean, it's...
Fulgrim might be a bit better then.
Fulgrim's much better. Abaddon's fucking nuts with that.
The Avatar of Cain?
Yeah. Fugan.
The Avatar of Cain, by the way, let's not forget that one breaks him, by the way.
Yeah.
Because in the aspect host attachment, you can spend 1 CP to make him 18-inch range and flat 8 damage.
Yeah.
He normally is a single shot, sustained D3. That's add 3 to attacks characteristics. He goes to 4 shots at range with sustained D3.
Of his melee weapons, though.
Nope. I will read it again for you, Jay. Until the end of the battle, add 3 to the attacks characteristic of each weapon equipped by Warlord models.
Oh, yeah. That is good. That's mental.
It's really fucking cool. I'm here for it. I'm here for that
look
one.
at Angron. It's fucking mental with it. Lion.
The one thing that makes me sad about that is I kind of wish we did see that at tournaments because someone on the chat's already said it, right? Dan has already said it in chat. What makes me sad about this is picking your warlord becomes important if you get that twist.
Yeah.
Just pick any old warlord. You're not going to pick some random fire cardra.
Yeah.
You're going to want to pick someone like Farsight or whatever, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because you're going to want him to get extra attacks. And I was like, that's super fucking cool. I'm into it. Knight Castellan Warlord, it doesn't work on vehicles.
No.
Doesn't work on vehicles, chat. It specifically says right at the end, excluding vehicles.
Yeah, because they'd be like, ooh, a Knight Gallant.
Yeah.
Off he goes, punchy.
So it's no vehicles. Oh, actually, would Farsight be a vehicle? Is he a vehicle?
Farsight's a vehicle.
Is he a vehicle?
Yeah, Quad Fusion Tower Commander would be broken. Wow. It's not, because he's a vehicle.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realise Farsight was
Yeah, I think they thought about that, and they were like, blur.
But the Avatar still gets it. And
It's a
Angron,
monster.
and Magnus, and Fulgrim, and Mortarion,
Swarm
and
Lord.
Abaddon, and the Swarm Lord.
Yeah.
There's a bit where you're like, if all they get it, why don't Farsight get it? That's a bit nonsense.
Because they have, because like Farsight and all that lot, they have incredibly good guns. So like,
So does the Avatar.
the Avatar's got 1 shot, and it goes to 4 shots.
Yeah,
Right.
with a sustained D3.
Which is a D3. But it's like a Knight Castellan going up to it. A Rogel Dawn. Because with the battle cannon,
Because it's +4 on every weapon.
on every weapon. Right?
That'd be mad.
So it would put out 10 multi-melter shots and D6 plus 6 battle cannons.
Yeah, but look at what Magnus gets
Yeah.
with his psychic shooting attacks and his like.
Oh yeah, he's going to be
he's
obnoxious.
bonkers with that,
Yeah.
isn't he? To be fair, yeah, I mean, I love it. The lion
It
lion.
It might get FAQ'd to excluding monsters and vehicles. I felt that would have made more sense
I hope not.
than just vehicles, because because the Swarm Lord is a bit loopy then.
Yeah.
Bjorn.
We then have the twist cards, not the twist cards, the challenger cards, right? This is the new mechanic. I love the twists, by the way, chat. I want to be running twists every single time we stream because I think they're cool. And I think I like the idea that some of them might be a bit bonkers. And some of them might make the lion clap for a game, because why the fuck not? I'm here for it. I love it. I think it's cool.
There's the fabulous build attachment with the Chaos Lord, who can go to damage 4 on his Thunderhammer with even more attacks. Good super.
There's lots of cool little, lots of cool little things, right? We then have the challenger cards. This is the new mechanic. This has essentially replaced the secret missions, which was already called the something else missions, which was what they called, not what they're called in the first instance. They couldn't quite get that right. So that was here's a way of scoring 20 points, so that, how about Fugan? So this is a way. This is a way in which I've always picked my warlord based on narrative, but now I might have to really think about it. This is a way.
I think you still pick it because of narrative.
This is a way in which they have gone. You're not winning. You're losing. The gap that you're losing by is starting to increase. How do we keep the game close? Like I said, historically, it was done by. Here, you give up your way of scoring primary. Thank you, Gambit. You give up your way of scoring primary, get 20 points. And that's kind of, it's always been too good or too shit. Too good, too shit, too good, too shit. They couldn't kind of get that happy medium. They've replaced it with challenger cards. So each one of these, you pick a card, deck down, both you and your opponent have it, you pick one at random, it is at random, and you get access to both a stratagem and a mission. You can choose to do either the mission or use a stratagem. You cannot use both. At the end of your turn, you discard the card. You can't keep hold of it.
Yeah.
Now, I think, if I'm honest, this has taken a bit of inspiration from Age of Sigmar's Spearhead.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a mechanic in Spearhead that Joe and I have both said we love and think it's brilliant. Now, I also think, you said this before the stream, so I don't want to take credit away from you. You said you think we're starting to feel the fruits of these two new managers in charge of both studios getting to grips with their own game systems and potentially even talking to each other.
Actually, there is communication going on. They're talking and they're listening to each other and themselves. And look at this, I don't feel like there's outside influence going on.
James Gascoigne says the twists are just stupid. Tell me you're a player who doesn't like having fun without telling me you're a player
but
who doesn't like having
the twists are designed for you to just have fun and be silly and just enjoy a game where just mad shit happens.
If Games Workshop have already announced, and if Art of War have reported this, then it's probably right. If they're not in play for their tournament companion, then evidently twists are here to just be silly and have fun. And so if you're playing with twists and you're not playing, so if you're playing competitively, what they're saying is don't use twists because they're for people that like to have fun.
Yeah, I think it's just like my issue with the previous sets of stuff, and people have said this about Age of Sigmar as well, is that the game became really sterile.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go around your mate's house and it'd be boring as shit because I'm just playing the same game that everyone else is having, and it's just play by the numbers. Every game is kind of the same, and they all happen the same way. With the twists, and it pulled at random, you know it's just going to be. It's just gonna be good. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it could flip it hard one way. You could flip it hard the other way. You could both benefit from it.
But you go,
but you also can pick it.
Yeah.
So you can also, if you're not playing competitively and you're playing for fun, and you pull a twist, and you both look at that twist and go, "You're going to get a huge benefit here, and I'm going to really suffer." What you can do, chat, you can go, "All right, we won't use that twist. Let's pick a different one."
And it's always that situation, isn't it? Like where nerds don't like change. Like they complain about it being boring, but they don't like it change. So then when they go like, "Oh, the game's really boring," games are actually like, "Oh, here, have this thing to make it the opposite of boring, and wild shit's gonna happen." Be like, "Oh,
don't like that.
It's too much."
I like it. Yeah. Dull.
I think this is the best and healthiest thing that's happened to 40k.
Strong agree.
Yeah.
Challenger cards. We'll go through the challenger cards. Someone's in chat's already asked. Do you have to pick which one you do when you pull it? You don't. So you pick this card up. You don't have to tell your opponent. I don't know if you have to tell your opponent. Don't tell your opponent. we're not putting them on screen because we're not going to tell each other. I think that's what the intent is. You get one or the other, right? So, for example, for this one, force a breach is the stratagem. They're all 0 CP because, your movement phase is when you use it. You target one unit from your army that has not been selected to move this phase until the end of the phase. Each time your unit makes a normal or advanced move, it can move horizontally through models and terrain features. So you just get a free 0 CP, move through terrain features and models. Job's good in, right? Or you can choose to do the mission instead. So you can spend that CP at any point. You can go, I'm going to spend my 0 CP strat, I'm going to use my card, bang, there you go, I've moved through terrain features. Or you can do an action that starts in your shooting phase. It completes immediately. One unit from your army that is not within your deployment zone and is wholly within 9 inches of one or more battlefield edges. And if you complete it, you just score 3 victory points. So it's old containment, essentially. You score 3 victory points. So if you're like, well, that's an easy... And remembering that you only draw this card if you're losing by 6 victory points at the start of the battle round. Yeah. So you can go, well, I can instantly close the gap by an additional 3 points here alone, if you wanted to. Yeah. But also, you might be like, yeah, but actually moving through that wall could get me on that objective, but could score me this other objective, this other secondary, which scores me 5 points, and stops my opponent from scoring. Like, beautiful. But you don't have to... You can do your movement phase... Obviously, Simred was on that, I think, asked. You do your movement phase and choose not to use a stratagem, or choose to use a stratagem, and if you don't use it, you get to your shooting phase. Well, I'm just going to do this action instead. Remembering at the end of your turn, you discard it. Yeah. It goes away, right? Opportunistic strike is a shooting phase. One unit from your army is within engagement range of one of my enemy units. Select one enemy unit that is not within engagement range of one or more of your units from your army and is within 6 inches and visible to your unit. Roll 6d6 for each 4+ that enemy unit suffers more wounds. You get a free grenade, basically. Yeah. And then you've got or one or more enemy models from 2 or more different units were destroyed this turn. 3 victory points. So they're never going to quite... They're not. I think if I remember rightly, every single one of these, if I remember rightly, is 3 victory points.
When do you? Right? Yeah, there were 3. When did you draw them? At the start of the battle round?
Yeah. 3, 3, 3,
it
3.
Is...
1 per area up to 3, 3. 1 up to 3, 3.
So what's interesting is I think that it's really... It's not really strong. You have to be smart and good at the game. But I think if you are smart and good at the game, going second is a bit of an advantage on these.
Yeah.
Because it's done by battle round. So if you're going second, you know what the score is going to be at the end of the turn. But it means you have to be smart enough to keep track.
But if you're going second, you have to be losing by 6 points to pull a card.
Yeah, but you could push your opponent. So you could let your opponent win turn 1 in the sense of like score higher. So it means that when you go into round 2, round 3, whatever, you could pull the score back to 6 points, but you could also be on every... So you could be losing, but also on every objective. But it does mean that next turn, you're essentially giving it to your opponent.
Yeah. You've got... I'm just going to pick a couple at random here. Great Haste is a movement phase stratagem. One unit that's not been selected to move until the end of the phase, add d6 to the move characteristic models in your unit. That's not including advancing, so you can advance as well. You've then got... Or you can say one or more units from your army are within your opponent's deployment zone. 3 victory points. So perhaps you pull behind enemy lines. You've got the challenger card. You get extra 3.
Calvin Ricky, yes, the Caldas tax will mean that they cost 1 more.
No.
Why?
They don't get affected anyway.
Not at all.
Nope. It says it in the little booklet I read out at the start.
Really?
Yep. Is it this one over here?
I thought they did.
Challenger cards. Challenger cards.
I thought they did. If you were targeting a unit that's within the range of them.
Challenger cards. Rules cannot change the cost of the stratagem on a challenger card.
Oh, nice.
And rules that generate command points cannot be triggered by the stratagem on a challenger card.
Okay, cool.
So no, the Caldas Assassin doesn't impact it at all. Another one. So there's a lot of them are just score 3 victory points, right? But there's a couple of them. For example, this one, you have a zone defense. And you battle round at the end of your turn for each of the following areas. 1 or more units from your army, excluding aircraft and battleship units, are wholly within that area. Your deployment zone, 6 inches to the centre, no man's land, your opponent's deployment zone. To a maximum of 1 victory point per unit, you score 1 victory point per area, up to a maximum of 3. So it's not just do one thing, get 3 points. This is you have to have them in 3 places out of 4 to get 3 victory points, right? There's a couple like that as well. One of them, for each objective marker you control, just gain an additional victory point.
Yeah.
This is a real nice way of stopping games being run away.
Yeah.
A real nice way of stopping the 110 point wins that sometimes exist.
Yeah.
Because even if you're still going to, the opponent's still going to score 100, you've got a chance of scoring, say, 15, 20 points by adding these in at least.
It gets rid of that.
Not 15.
I feel like it gets rid of a real feel bad in the game that kind of exists at the moment.
Well,
when
a lot of people
being absolutely dominated by your player, you're cool. I scored.
A lot of people are getting pissy about challenge cards, and a lot of people are clearly stupid. Because if you think about it, Battle Round 1, are you going to have a 6-point victory, a lead at the start of Battle Round 1?
Not really.
We can't, Joe, because none of us have scored any points to start Battle Round 1. So these can only be drawn from Battle Round 2 onwards, right?
Yeah.
Which means one individual can score a maximum using these challenger cards of 12 points. A maximum. That is not game-changing. It's just not game-changing.
Yeah.
And you might draw a card where you go, I actually can't score those 3 victory points, so you just get a free stratagem. So the challenger cards are just not that bad. They're quite good. The twist cards are mental, but as reported by Art of War, I'm yet to confirm, I don't know. But as reported by Art of War, they're not used in tournament play.
It's the best version of the catch-up mechanic that they've tried as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Because
100%.
Because like you said...
It works beautifully in Spearhead.
Because the first lot, they tried, you never took them. Like, it was like the LVO, out of like 500 people, 3% even attempted to do the gambits. And of those 3%, only 3% actually achieved them.
Yeah.
Right?
So the only way a person scores 12 victory points with these is if they're literally losing by at least 6 victory points every single battle round, and they're doing the mission part of it every single turn.
Yeah.
So there's so I'm talking competitively, Soups, right? Because people will moan. So people that, let's be honest, Soups, let's be quite frank about this, okay? The people that are going to complain about these aren't the people that are playing asymmetric, because the people that are playing asymmetric are probably playing for fun.
Yeah.
And people playing for fun often don't mind point swings because they're here to have fun. They're the same people that have gone, twists look fun, not the people that have had a fucking meltdown because an army might be able to do a 3d6 in charge.
The people that complain are the people that complain about stuff regardless. They're the same people that complain, like, my army's got a new codex and it's not broke as shit compared to the index.
Yeah. And you know, there's ways in which I think these twists could be beautiful. If I'm playing with a friend of mine and I play, for example, a heavy melee Space Wolves army and he plays a Tau army, and we're even Stevens every time we play each other. Points are very, very close, right? Do you know what? If one game we pull the cards at random and we pull out a 3d6 each charge, I'm going to say to my opponent, probably not going to use this because we're already level pegging and I'm just going to obliterate you. If, however, that Tau player has pulled my pants down every single game we've played and we pull a 3d6 in charge, we might go, I want to see if this makes a difference.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
I think so. Like, Games Workshop aren't afraid to FAQ cards either. So if they find that some of these things are too powerful or too weak, they can change them and adapt them. But also, right, the twist cards, you don't have to use the twist or the catch-up mechanic, right? You don't have to use that deck. If you're someone that likes run-of-the-mill, black and white game, no variation, no fun, you can
I think it still can be fun.
Yeah, but I think like it's like you go.
I get what you're saying.
Just run your own fucking tournaments and just imply your own fucking rules.
Joe's getting arsey now, chat.
It really bugs me, and I've experienced them a lot recently, where I've played games at events, and my opponent it's like playing like the highest level librarian ever.
Snezzy, by the way, what a legend. Love this. I think playing fun anyways, you could definitely add more than one twist. Like 18 each charge and all weapons have pistol keyword. Yeah. Well, that's how you balance your melee, potentially balance your melee versus your army. I love it. Perfect,
someone
mate.
said earlier that like they were like, you draw 3 cards, one of you picks one that you don't use, the other person picks one you don't use, and then you use what's left over. Right? So there's a semblance of choice within a restriction. I like that. But I think like if you want to play in certain ways, like you don't have to. If you're a TO and you don't like one of the card types, you don't have to run it. But then I like the idea of if we a hobby house here, we just use all of them.
I fucking love them. I think they're great.
You know? It's wild and fun. Because I like going to tournaments. Like I said, like I go to tournaments and my opponents get offended if I'm trying to have fun.
I know it's mad, mate.
They're like,
how dare you with toy soldiers?
They're like, why haven't you done that action? Because I want to charge at you. Why? because it's fun. It's funny. So, yeah, but you don't score the points. Yeah, but I've challenged you and it's fun and it's funny. And then what the problem is, I'm me, and I start to gain fun out of making you more miserable.
A large part of the community has been asking. This harks back to what you said a little moment ago. A large part of the community, us included, have been saying for a while we want more random variance and fun in our missions if we're not playing at tournaments for ITC points, etc.
Yeah.
Games Workshop go, here's some twist cards that are optional, and here's some challenger cards which aren't that broken.
Yeah.
Because you can do a max, like I said, you can each if you're able to score 12 victory points from twist cards, it means you've been losing all fucking game.
Yeah.
Because you only get them if you're losing by 6 points or more.
Clearly, you needed them.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So and then everyone goes, well, this is shit. How dare you give my opponent a chance to catch me up?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Those are the people that only like having fun if they're just dominating.
They're the people that only like having fun if they're scoring 100 points and their opponent's getting 10 for being painted. And even then they might argue that point as well.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, the super helpful, healthy people for the game. We go into secondaries, and they've tweaked these a bit as well. And I like pretty much all of the tweaks, Joe. Engageable fronts has been tweaked slightly. You can now get 1 victory point for just being in 2 areas.
I think that's good.
Yep.
That's really good for armies that have low model counts, or if you are being absolutely beasted, like you can still achieve it. But also, engaging all fronts is a real shit secondary to pull turn 1. Because you're like, cool, I'm just not going to get that for like 2-3 turns. I'm just going to bin it off.
Chris says, I think the deck is great for everything outside of tournament play. The thing is, again, I need to see the tournament companion. I think we have it, and I haven't just looked at it. But if they're removing twists from the tournament companion and you're just using primary missions, the normal deployment maps, and then you're using the challenger cards and secondary deck, I think this is a great competitive edition, I'll be honest.
Do you know what I'd
edition.
like to see from Games Workshop now, because they're adding more fucking cards to the game? A card holder for the side of the table. Something that holds your deck and your twist.
Storm Hostile, basically unchanged. Behind enemy lines, basically unchanged. Assassinate has changed if fixed. So Tactical, which we typically play here because it's more fun, for stream entertainment purposes at least, is 5 victory points if you kill a character, or 5 victory points if all the enemy characters are dead, right? Tactical, fix, it's changed slightly. You get 3 victory points if you kill a character that's less than 4 wounds, and you get 4 victory points if you kill a character 4 wounds or higher. Which means that the armies like Guard will have 3 wound characters everywhere, or like I think GC the Cults have a lot of them or whatever. You don't just get hammered for spamming 3 wound characters, and just it's reduced slightly. Only by a point, but still, it's quite nice. That's Assassinate. Cleanse has changed ever so slightly as well. You get 2 victory points if you've cleansed an objective marker. If you cleanse 2 or more objective markers, you get 5 in Tactical, but 4 in Fixed, which is quite nice. Established Locus has... when does it finish? It completes end of your turn, Established Locus, which it was before as well, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Sabotage and Recover Assets.
Yeah, Recover Assets has changed. Bring It Down has changed. So in tactical missions, it's just 4 victory points per monster or vehicle. No longer cumulative. If you're playing fixed, it's still cumulative. 2 victory points for a monster or vehicle, an additional 2 victory points if they have starting strength of 15 or more. Additional. It was stupid in tactical before. You could be wildly behind in tactical, pull that mission against knights, drop 2 knights, and just shoot ahead.
I mean, if you kill 3 knights, you're probably winning at that point anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
It's just a win more mechanic then.
Cull the Horde has changed quite a lot. It's 5 victory points, whether tactical or fixed. Now it's an infantry unit with a starting strength of 13 or more, including attached units.
13.
So my Eldrad plus Warlocks plus Storm Guardians now will count for
13 wounds, not models. I'm guessing.
Starting strength of 13, so models.
Yeah.
Right, and it's infantry unit, so you can't only go that vehicle's got 35 wounds. It counts. Doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just infantry units. So Cull the Horde has become a lot more achievable and a lot more relevant, because let's face it, more often than not with Cull the Horde, you pull that card and go, can't get rid of it. Right. Yeah. Again, if you can't do it physically,
having a deck where cards are literally just never being used is a bad.
A lot of the ones that, dare I say this, but I'm not trying to trigger you here, a lot of the ones you whinged about, like Cull the Horde, have changed to a way where they're achievable now.
Yeah.
How often are you going to have units with starting strengths of 13 or more? It's quite high, actually. Let's be honest. a 20-man unit of orcs is now relevant. A 20-man unit of...
Well, a 20-man unit of orcs was relevant before. Because there were people on a certain other channel that were bringing 19 models, and they had to change the rules because of them.
But it's 13 plus as well, so a 12-man unit with a character counts.
Is there any 12-man units?
I don't fucking know, Joe. It's 12 models, though, isn't it? Starting strength.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what's got 12 models. That's like 10 with 2 characters.
Well, 13 plus including attached is got to be done on purpose. So 10 with 2 characters doesn't count. It's not 13. So it's got to be done that way on purpose. They've got to have been thinking of something specific to make it 13 plus. But it's much more relevant, is my point.
Yeah.
No prisoners has basically not changed. Okay, I think it's exactly the same actually. Secure no man's land, 2 if you hold 1, 5 if you hold 2, has changed slightly, 5 for holding 2 now rather than 4.
Yeah.
Marked for death, one of JoJo's favourites.
Fucking hate it.
Has not changed for the first part of it, has changed significantly for the second part.
Yeah.
So for the second part of it, you get, so when you pull this card, your opponent picks 3 units, they're alphas, right? You then pick a unit that's not an omega. What's it called? A gamma.
Gammon.
If you kill any alphas, you get 5s. If you kill no alphas, but you kill your gamma target that you've selected, you still get 2 points. So you can just get 2 points from Cole.
I like it. I think it's really good because
Massively
your opponent can still pick the fucking shitty units at the back that you can't do anything with. But you go, well, I know this is why I really like this deck. It's because they've gone every card is achievable in some way. Like, you won't get lots of points for it, but they are achievable.
Yeah.
And what it does, it's a catch-up mechanic in itself, because there's people that were getting 100 points every game, and they're still going to be getting 195. That 90 plus points, they're still going to be scoring.
Yeah.
But it means that their opponents can still play the game the same time, and that's what's important about 40k. That's one thing I really like about Age of Sigmar, is that even if you're losing, you're still in it.
Always pick the gammon, exactly.
Yeah.
Defend stronghold, not changed. Recover assets, Joe hated, has now changed. It's 3 victory points for 2 areas, now only 5 victory points for 3 areas, which sounds worse, but it completes end of your turn,
Good.
Joe.
Good.
No longer completes end of the opponent's turn.
Because it was shit points for something that takes 2 turns.
Ares Denial, not changed. Sabotage still ends at opponent's turn, still 3 and 6. But it's only 1 unit rather than 3 units. Recover assets was always feels bad, because if you went for the big score, you had 3 units doing nothing in 3 separate areas, one of which was, and because it's 3 separate areas, including your deployment zone, their deployment zone, and no man's land, it meant that your opponent basically was able to kill one of those units at least. Possibly even 2. So that one didn't make sense to complete end of the opponent's turn. Now it doesn't. Sabotage still just complete end of opponent's turn, but it's only 1 unit, so it's a lot more achievable.
Yeah.
Overwhelming Force is the same, basically. It does have a designer's note. Destroyed leader and bodyguard units count separately for the purpose of scoring the secondary mission, provided the attached unit started the turn within range of the objective marker. Cool. Extend battle lines is 2 and 4. So 2 if you hold 1 in no man's land. No longer does it have to be your only unit alive anymore. 4 if you hold your home objective and no man's land. Tempting target returns.
It's always been my favourite secondary.
Your opponent must select an objective marker in no man's land to be your tempting target objective marker. If you control it at the end of either player's turn, there's a few of these that say at the end of either player's turn, you score 5 victory points.
It's my favourite one, and they made it better. Because your opponent always picked their home objective.
Yeah.
It's super fucking annoying.
It says...
But now it specifically says no man's land.
Yeah, it has to be no man's land.
Yeah.
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 So tempting target returns, and then there's a brand new secondary called Display of Might.
Oh. Pull your pants down.
Can't do it the first battle round. And then if there are more units from your army than from your opponent's army, wholly within no man's land, you score 4 victory points at the end of your turn. That's it. Done.
No enemy units in no man's land.
There are more of your units than enemy units in no man's land.
I like it. It's easier for some armies than others.
It is, of course.
Yeah.
That's your secondaries.
But that's all secondaries, isn't it, really?
Yeah. That's your secondaries. Love them. Mm-hmm. We then have Asymmetric, which I'm not going to go into massive amounts of detail yet. I need to add these into the scoreboard, which I'm not going to be doing in the next week or 2, because they're quite crazy deployment maps I have to somehow build. But there's some really cool ones. Last Stand, Breakout, Tip of the Spear, Defensive Line, like crazy deployment maps.
Well, we were saying that they're really good for like fun narrative or like terrain layouts as well.
Huge fans of these. And they come with their own raft of primary missions for asymmetric as well.
Because the one where you're like in the corner, and you're supposed to be, you could literally, we've got like the old Warhammer Fantasy Castle walls.
Yeah.
You could use the Necromunda Fortress kind of thing, where you the one in the corner is in a defensive position, and your opponent just fucking charges you.
I want to try every asymmetric mission. Every asymmetric map. I'm going to be adding them all to the scoreboard eventually. We're going to be playing through them. I'm going to be learning them on stream with you guys. I think they look like a lot of fun. So if you think about it, you've got, I think it's 10 maybe primary mission cards, if I remember rightly, that are basically the same ones as before. They've removed a couple, added one in. They're all good primary missions.
Yeah.
They're all quite balanced. They've got the same 6, I think it is, deployment maps that we had before. They haven't changed. No issues with deployment maps at all. They were all perfectly fine. They're a bit of a pain sometimes to measure out the crazy Tetris-looking ones, but they've all been fine. They're cool. If you're playing competitively, that's where it stops, apart from secondary missions and challenger cards. The secondary missions, they've tied up a lot of the ones that are really hard to score. They've tied up the ones that were mostly pointless.
Yep.
They've made them all better. They've added back in Tempting Target, which I love, and another new one. They've taken a couple out. They've taken out Containment. So you can't draw Containment and draw the challenge card that requires you to be within 9 inches of the side of the board and get 9 points, which is cool. It looks like they've thought about it a little bit. Yeah. And then they've added in the challenger card deck, which I think is 8 cards. It's going to be hard to work out which one you're going to get each turn. And again, if you're getting 4 throughout the game, you're having a bad game because you're losing the whole way through.
Yeah.
And it keeps the game closer. So we put that in if we put that in a bucket, the secondaries, challenger cards, the deployment of the primary missions, that's your competitive deck. I love it. Competitive, I think it's great.
I think it's amazing.
If we then go, but you don't want to play competitive, Jay.
Yeah.
So now you've got all those primary missions, plus asymmetric primary missions, plus asymmetric deployment maps, plus twists.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of different combinations
what we
there.
were saying, and we've been asking for ages, and they've done it, is just give us more ways to play.
And they've done that.
And what is good is that, as I've said many times, and I will tie you all with the same brush, is you're all woefully unimaginative, right? And you're like, give us more places to play, and Games Workshop goes, here you go, have it, and you're like, it's not rigid enough.
Not those ways of playing.
I don't want that. That's the wrong way to have fun.
Yeah.
But they've gone.
So how would you do it?
They go, here is some non-Crusade narrative missions that are different to play every time because it's not a rigid mission and secondary structure.
That's fucking great.
And
this is so
just
good.
make your narrative around the missions we've given you. Have fun. And I think it's really, really good. And the people that are complaining, I don't want to play against you anyway. I think it's very... right? It's like Brexit, isn't it? You find out who your friends are really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just... I think... Like... It's amazing. I think this is the best that we've had since 7th?
8th. In 8th edition, you had...
Frontline Gaming.
In 8th edition, you had ITC missions from Frontline for competitive.
You picked the second.
You had Eternal War in the rulebook, and you had Maelstrom of War as your in-between way of playing. That was, for me... In terms of not necessarily the core rule set itself, but in terms of the variance in playing games, that was peak.
Yeah.
Because you could play ITC where you picked your secondaries, etc. You could play Eternal War, it was just a fixed mission and you scored at the end of the game, and you had like First Blood, Slay the Warden, Linebreaker, and then you had Maelstrom of War where you had 6 different missions and in different ways in which you drew your secondary cards. For me, that was the perfect spread.
Yeah.
And then Games Workshop went, we're taking competitive on board ourselves, and they kind of just went, mash it all together. I think this shows a little bit of them breaking it out again.
Yeah.
And I think that's a positive. It's a huge positive.
And by changing its name to Asymmetric, they're not calling it narrative play.
No.
Which immediately puts people off. I think they've done an incredible job. And I've said this is a sign that Games Workshop has reevaluated 10th edition, how to play 10th edition, and the influences of the new rules team coming in.
I think also, if you call something narrative play, people kind of expect it to be perfectly narratively accurate.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it puts some people off. this is I feel like asymmetric and twists is have fun mode.
Yeah.
Go and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, I think.
And I think it's more for people that are not that bothered about who wins. Everyone wants to win Warhammer, let's be honest. Anyone who says, I don't care about winning, is lying a little bit, because most people want to at least compete. And I think that if you play a twist game, because you're having fun and you're having beer and pretzel time with your mates, and it wildly swings one way, it could be a great laugh.
Yeah.
You could also, and this is the thing that people seem to struggle to fucking realise in games of Warhammer. You could play a twist, and 2 turns in you go, this is mental.
Yeah.
This is far too powerful. Just swap. You could randomly just swap your twist out.
Yeah.
So this turn, we're going to do this one now. Fuck it, why not?
The twist is like, what you could play it, you do them random, you pull them random. If you play with someone regularly enough, you pull it at random, you play it twist, and you go, oh, that one really done me over this round or this game. Can't wait for the next one because I might get. So when you play your next game, the twist that you did before is not in the deck anymore. But so if you're playing more and more stuff, you know that like
I already thought as well. We could do things here with the deck where we could turn 1, we could play night fighting, right, 18-inch load up. Turn 2, the deck can go 3d6 charge. Turn 3, the deck can change it.
Do you know what it is? Right. This is twists are chat plays.
A bit.
You just
Are you going to tell me that they're watching us again?
when
It's been ages since we've done chat plays, Jeff.
no, but what I'm saying is we were thinking about because people have asked about how do we bring chat plays back? How do we bring it away in a structure? Because the biggest problem we've got about chat plays, right? It kind of turns into, is it QVC? The sales channel. You're not watching people play Warhammer. You're watching 2 people sell you cheap watches, right? Asking for money. Whereas if you go, once we hit 50 members, right? £50.
We haven't hit 50 members yet.
I know, but once we hit a target, you go, the twist changes, right?
Yeah.
And you can change it on the spot.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So your opponent could be, because Paddy, could be, I bought Tau because I know the Twisters game might be. That's what you do to Paddy, right? You tell him the twist in advance.
And then change it.
And then he goes, bring in Tau today because I've got pistol guns. And then halfway through game 1, and he's not had a turn yet, it goes 18-inch low op, or 3d6 charge.
I love it.
Yeah.
Talking of members, chat, it is the greatest way of supporting us.
I'm going for a week.
I will allow it.
You want a drink? You want me to get you a can?
No, I got my Dr. P, thanks, mate. I'm all right for now. It's the greatest way of supporting us. You people have been amazing this month so far, considering we had time off because sick on holiday, and I really appreciate it. We're on 35 of the finest members right now. There is 370 people watching. We've been close to 400 at a couple of occasions. There are a ton of people who are grey names in chat who probably are newish to the channel or haven't watched us all that much. If you want to spread that great whole love, you can gift some memberships, or you can become a member if you are a grey name, of course. But you can gift some memberships, get those people some access to the Discord server. Perhaps what they'll do is they'll come in and realise what fun's actually all about and start hanging out as part of the Great Hall. All you got to do is talk to the people that went to Warhammer World on Friday and hung out there as part of a contingent of people who went to just have a get-together. The vibes are amazing. You're all incredible. We're building such a wonderful community. We are building it slowly, but we are building such a wonderful community. So I am very proud of it. I'm very, very proud of it. If you want to become a member of the channel, you can just hit !member, click that link, or hopefully someone might gift you one if you can't afford it yourself. We start from as little as $1.99. It's not the greatest for us, but I wanted to give people a way of coming into the Discord server without breaking the bank. The best for us is obviously the $4.99 tiers or higher. We do behind-the-scenes content for Haskals. There's giveaways every single month for Jarl tiers. We've got the Thanes with their own WhatsApp community, which is incredibly fucking busy, and their own little family as well. And then we have the Aces who get free event tickets, etc. Some of those could be more prevalent and more important with Hobby House opening in the future. So, if we could get a little gifting train on the go right now, with 379 people in chat, if every single person who's a green name already gifts one, we'll at least probably clear up all of the grey names currently in chat. If you're feeling super generous, gifting 5 is incredible. And if you gift 5 or more, you will get yourself a Joe Hope. And when he comes back, Alex is going to get a Joe Hope, Schooner's going to get a Joe Hope, Tribune's going to get a Joe Hope, and a Harborn's going to get a Joe Hope. You're all going to get Joe Hopes, right? So there we go. You're all wonderful people. Great Hall Gathering was ace. Thank you so much. I went on Saturday with what must have been half the people there, and it was still great fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Soups. I'm glad you enjoyed it. The only thing I wish is that competitive had some sort of meaningful attack and defender mechanism. Yeah, fair. Yeah. Went to what? That wasn't me. It was you. If that's the cost of your escort for the day, that's up to you. Ash, we'll read it out later anyway. Can confirm best community. Thank you so much. Because you get to shout "school" in the middle of Warhammer World and watch everyone's heads turn around and go, "Eh, yeah, exactly." What more did you want? That's the best part of the day, right?
Oh, a lovely week.
You had a what? A lovely week. Good man. There's a Sprite in there, I think.
You're a Sprite.
Didn't think gifting worked that way anymore. They don't go to people watching necessarily, but the thought is still there. Yeah, the thought's there, Phil, right? It doesn't. Gifting can go... Gifting's actually incredibly helpful, right? So when we're at this kind of numbers of people watching live, I have noticed, and this is going to sound like a sales pitch here, and I don't mean it to be. I don't mean it to be, but there's a number of things that have happened with Gifted over the course of the last couple of years that YouTube have changed. So when people come into this kind of audience and they drop 10, 20, 50 Gifteds, right, the concurrent viewers goes up. Because what YouTube does, sometimes it gifts to people in chat, which is amazing. Sometimes what it does, and it seems to be it's seemingly random, but sometimes what it does is it goes to people not watching, and it even goes to people who have got Gifted turned on as a generic rule, but have never seen the channel before. And but because of what they've watched, maybe they've been watching Tactics, or they've been watching Tabletop, obviously, not the other one, or they've been watching Mini Wargame or whatever, they'll go, oh, they're into Warhammer content, and there's memberships being gifted out on Liam's channel, give them one, and they might come and watch, and they do go, oh, I've just been gifted a membership to this channel, what's this all about?
Yeah.
I love that, it's incredible. So actually, gifting financially supports us, which is amazing, helps us grow, and potentially pushes our content out to more new people.
If I'm honest, I think it's because YouTube don't like giving out refunds. So, like, because if they didn't get given out to people watching, you'd just get refunded. And now they're like, you can have one. You like the Warhammers.
Yeah, I'm here for it though.
Yeah.
But if in the past, if you gift 5 and it gives 1 out, it doesn't refund you, even if it only gives 1 out. That happens. All right. So anyway, I've waited for you to come back because there's a few hopes to give.
Ash said that he had to buy his missus a Hierophant. I'm not convinced that was his missus.
It was the fee of his escort that he bought with him. That's what I keep telling him.
Could have bought me a Hierophant.
Yeah, you would have also put out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Give me your hand shandy.
I did get you 100 quid for Forge Roll stuff, like I
You
promised.
did. You did.
Yeah.
You did. And that was very nice of you. The problem is, we're talking about doing a crusade. I can't do like good guys versus good guys. I can't use them for the whites. Like, can't do like white scars for crusade.
We could. We'll talk about that after we've gone through this bit if we've got some time. But basically, I'm so excited about Space Wolves. This is one of those ones where I just never want to hand the models over to anybody else ever. And so I think that one of the things I might do, because we can make content out of it, is instead of waiting until I've got 2,000 points painted and playing it, we could run a channel crusade. And I think in the early stages of it, we could play some of the crusade games on a Thursday lunchtime stream.
Yeah.
Because it'll be smaller size, right? You get them out of the way in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Props.
Oh, easy. Yeah. If it's like 500 points, I think the minimum is 500 point size, really, because 300 points is nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to learn 10th edition Crusade.
That's like 15 Space Marines.
Yeah.
If that.
Anyway, we're on 43 members right now, chat. We're 7 away from 50 from halfway. Thank you so much. Alex, thank you, right off the bat, before we even officially went live, for 20 gifted memberships. What a fucking legend. I love you.
Thank you. I hope that when you park your car, right, in a multi-story or whatever, for the next year, this is a year long, right, because I understand it's not a great one, but the time gives it its value.
You're justifying it before you told him.
Right, is that when you park your car, people don't park super close on both sides, so you can't get in the fucking thing.
Oh.
I parked in Salisbury multi-story overnight on the weekend, came to my car, and both people on both sides had parked so close to me that I basically had to like, luckily one of them parked at a weird angle, so I had to get in through the back seat.
Oh.
I've had to climb into the front.
I've had to get in through the passenger side before,
Yeah.
which is not easy.
No.
And you've got big gangly fucking legs and a gut like mine.
Well, it's normally the middle console gets in the way, doesn't it, as well? Yeah. I was just like, how did they get out of their car? You know, it's just, yeah, so a year long, not really have to struggle to get in your car.
I'm here for that one, Joe. That's a
Yeah.
good one. I like that one, actually. Lima Ross, thank you for the 2. We need Joe back in a suit because he was handsome. You had a wedding this weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, not my wedding.
No.
Yeah. It was the first wedding I've been to ever where I haven't got my suit the week leading up to it from a charity shop or a collection of charity shops.
So you actually tried this time?
Yeah. I was like the first time I've been in a position where it's local enough that I didn't have to pay to travel, and they did one of the rare things where you go to a wedding and they do like a room block on a hotel. So we got cheap hotel room as well, which was nice. So I was like, oh, I'll hire a suit. I'll try this time.
Yeah.
It was really nice. I got measured up, got a lovely suit.
Chat are saying Crusade in 10th edition is a minimum of 1k officially, but you can start at 500. Now, I know the Thanes with their Crusade campaign started at 500. I'm going to be honest with you, chat. I'm painting my Space Wolves. We're starting at 500 points. It's required because I'm not fast. So, Live Panel, thank you for the $20. Be a billionaire company. Push competitive edition. Sell yearly rotational system for competitive. Have Russian website that is mediocre alternative. Understock yearly rotation system. Push people to Russian site. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's their intentional business model. But that is
I just think that they have a major manufacturing problem at the moment. I don't think this is intentional. I think this is the best they can do with the resources that they have.
I don't believe that.
Because I think the problem they have now, right, is that they are producing too much to be able to keep up with it. So you think, right, so it's not just Warhammer that exists, right? It's not Warhammer 40k. It's 40k, Kill Team, AOS, Spearhead, Necromunda, Old World, insert other game there, right? Paint, and books, and brushes, and the lot. And their release rate is nuts. They're not releasing one thing a week, are they?
GW.
Yeah, no.
Well, let's not forget that currently the Thousand Suns Codex, the Special Edition Codex, the box set with the robots on are still on pre-order right now. And then Space Force went up on Saturday before the Thousand stuff went out to people, as well as the new mission deck, and
what's going and like
it's Old World Wood Elves.
And when they release Old World now, right? People complain that yes, they are releasing old models, and I get that, I fully understand. But what they are also doing is releasing an entire model range for an army when they release that book.
I mean,
right,
pulling it out, dusting it off the cupboard. Yeah,
but they still have to manufacture all this stuff. Like, they still have to box it up. And Horus Heresy, right?
I'm actually quite. Did you watch the release for Horus Heresy on Friday?
No, I was driving at the time.
No, but have you seen it set? Have you watched it set?
I haven't watched it, but I know what's coming, and I'm very, very excited.
We're doing Heresy, right?
I saw it, and I'm like, good, I'm doing Iron Warriors, because that box set means I could do a Horus Heresy Iron Warriors army that would also work in 40k, apart from the big gun, which looks fucking cool. It's really, really nice. Breaches are coming, and Man Milk was made in the lay-by near Oxford. And I looked at the pictures, right? It's really fucking good. I'm really excited. I do have one major problem, right? And it's
gout.
It's full nerd rage to the level of being pointless.
Okay.
Right. They called it the drop site massacre.
Oh, here we go. It's narrative, is it?
It's a narrative problem.
Yeah, here we go.
Satellite Terminators weren't even there. They were done and gone by Istvan. No mention of them whatsoever. They were relics even by that point. Right?
I think you're missing the key rule here, Joe.
I don't care. They were no one was fucking using them at all.
Well, if Games Workshop come out next week and say people were using them at the Drop Site Massacre, then they were.
It was their narrative. They can say what
exactly. That's my point.
But the last 15 years of Black Library books is, but like I was worried about the Satellite Terminators coming out because the artwork for them makes them look a bit shit. Right, the lead up to it, it's cool, and I kind of feel like it was lip service to just a very vocal, small part of the Warhammer.
Yeah, a big hat tip to
the
old
heresy kind of people. They're just doing it to appease a small group of people. But the models are actually really nice. And also in the little video trailer, they've got all the Terminators like teleporting in to support the troops on the floor. They couldn't do that at Istvan because it was all blocked. Basically, everyone landed and then got shot in the back and died. That trailer kind of implies that the Salamanders beat the Iron Warriors. And that just didn't happen. Iron Within.
Such a virgin. Predators, thank you for the $5. Did you get 2 copies of the deck? If so, maybe you got Mikey's by accident. No, just the 1 copy, actually. Did he not get one?
I think he did. I think he was reviewing it the other day.
Did you not get a physical copy?
I don't know. Yeah, the Saturnine box set is an incredible box set, and the models look fucking amazing. But sat at the wrong time.
He was very salty about it. I love Mikey. I think Mikey's a wonderful human being. I've got a lot of time for him. And if he ever says, can I come down and hang out and do content, the answer is almost always yes, barring us being away or having
I might message him and just invite myself to do one of his streams.
But
like I'm going to play on your stream.
Who knew that if you spend your time trying to make clickbait shit on Games Workshop content, they might stop sending you stuff?
I don't know. Well, I think like we had that bit where we took ourselves off Age of Sigmar, and it created a computer error at their end. So when 4th edition dropped, we didn't get any of the 2 new armies that first came out because it just does a computer cock up. But they got it fixed. I think that's maybe what he's doing.
I don't know. I sympathise with him because he works really hard to put content out. And I like Mikey a lot. I think Mikey's great. And if you don't know who we're talking about, it's Hellstorm Wargaming. Check out the channel because Mikey's incredible. But I wonder if he's just pushed the buttons a little too hard because he says it himself, right? I had him sat here. We did a saga. We talked about the fact that Games Workshop has said to him before that he's the most YouTuber-y type of YouTuber they have to deal with because it's all silly reaction faces. And I just broke this codex, and I just broke this codex, and I just broke this codex. And this is why you shouldn't buy this codex, and you should just print it out from this website. If you do that, they're going to have a tolerance level, I think, GW. And I've always said this, and I maintain this. If I am shitting on their product because it's not a good product, and they stop sending me product, it says more about them than it says about me. I'd rather maintain my integrity. But I think they probably have a tolerance line. I think their tolerance line maybe has been crossed. I don't know. Or maybe there has been a clerical fuck up, in which case you just get older.
I think that Mikey should be a playtester.
I think Mikey should be a playtester more than some other people.
I think he'd be a really good playtester because of his ability to break shit.
Mikey understands the rules more than some people that have been playtesters in the past. Mikey understands the rules much better than I will ever understand the rules, and I was a playtester in the past, and he wasn't.
I just don't think Games Workshop are very good at constructive criticism.
I mean, no, they're not.
Yeah. But sometimes it's not all constructive criticism. We don't give constructive criticism very often. You
Yes,
just
we do.
sit here and you call them cunts.
When have I ever done that without a reason as to why and what they should have done differently?
Yeah, but you shout it.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. If you're going to give them the reason as to why they're a pack of cunts and how they can do things better or how they should do things differently, that's constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Because you're saying, this is why I don't like it, this is what I would do differently. It doesn't make me right, but it's constructive criticism.
But you could do it in a written letter. You know, and not shout it on the internet.
Make it tea-stained and tear the edges.
You're like one of those priests that stands in town centres and just shout stuff down the megaphone about stuff. And that's why you have a cult of weirdos.
We're still only on 43 members today, though, Joe. Yesterday we only did 80 as well. Struggling at the moment.
But
I'm very worried about feeding my family.
I always worry about us getting cut off, if I'm honest.
I know you do.
I worry about it on a daily basis.
I know you do.
Because I like free shit, and you like upsetting the people that give us free shit.
I don't like upsetting them at all. What have I just done about this?
Oh, he said they did a great job.
Apart from the fact that you can't buy it,
yeah,
which is essentially the procurement team.
But this is a prime example of why Games Workshop needs to develop a game tracker as part of the app.
But what I've said about this is This is one of the best mission decks they've ever made, and it's close to perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't just like upsetting people.
I think Games Workshop should just buy the Battle Apps app and just integrate it.
But you hear what I'm saying here, right? Like, if I just like upsetting people, I say this is shit. And I would do what some people in chat are like, twists are fucking rubbish, and I don't know why we've got challenge cards. I don't know why we can't just play the same game we played for the last 12 months. I haven't done that. I've gone, this is fucking great. This is a good job. A very, very good job. The only thing I don't like about this is the fact that they've not done a great job in making it available everywhere still.
Yeah, but
the deck itself... Yeah. I can't wait to play the next 12 months of this mission deck, Joe. I genuinely cannot wait to play the next 12 months of this. And I'm going to be doing it predominantly, not solely, but predominantly with a new Eldar Codex, which for me is one of the best Eldar Codexes they've ever written, and a new Space Wolves Codex full of stunning new miniatures. Yeah. That's all positive.
Do you know what my biggest surprise situation is at the moment? Is that you're surprised that they couldn't distribute their stock properly?
I just feel like at this point of their cycle for 10th edition, whilst releasing mission decks, they could have and should have learned lessons. I'm not saying they haven't learned lessons, but they haven't learned them strong enough, clearly. Because I reckon they're not going to be 50 short. They're thousands short. Thousands short.
Oh, yeah, by miles.
And
it's
that's
like, the thing is, though, like I think...
And if you release a mission deck with Leviathan... And then you have a problem where it's not in stock for 6 months and you can't seem to get it out to people who need it. And every time we go to a tournament, people going, I can't get all that mission deck still. And then you release Pariah Nexus, and for 6 months, people still can't get that. You think on the third go, they might go, like I said, we're not making enough.
They need to introduce the Battle Apps app part of the deck.
Oh, there's no excuse to not make. Look at what. Sorry, who is it that does it? Goonhammer.
Goonhammer
Goonhammer do the battle app.
Yeah.
It's not called battle. It used to be called ITC Battles. It's now called Tabletop Battles.
Battle Battles.
Battle Battles. Yeah, that one. Right. The one thing that annoys me about that app slightly is when you draw your secondary missions.
It doesn't give you all the information.
Doesn't give you all the information.
Also,
but if Goonhammer can make that app,
Tabletop Battles is good.
Tabletop Battles.
But my biggest issue with Tabletop Battles, right, is that when you randomly pick when you pick your missions, right. It doesn't fucking tell you what the mission is. You have to watch a video.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? I'd rather it just went, here's the missions, and then tell you what it is. Because it doesn't tell you what the mission is
Joe,
until you've deployed and rolled off and gone into the main bit.
But it's also free, and it's better than fuck all.
Yeah.
Right? If they can make that, a multi-billion-pound company can make something better than that. History's not on their side necessarily when you look at their website, but they can. And there's no reason why... I spent an hour and a half before you turned up.
Goonhammer made the app with a box of scraps.
I spent an hour and a half before you turned up today, sat there going through and changing and updating all the secondaries to the new ones for our scoreboard.
Oh.
So when we go generate random secondaries, it comes up with 2 secondaries that's accurate to the new... Like, it's not that hard. They can put this stuff, they can put this inside the app, locked behind the Warhammer Plus subscription service. They absolutely could have essentially a live service scoreboard system. They could. They just don't. They should and could. And hopefully it's in development, but who knows?
I invented something that's sort of off topic entirely, right? I invented something this weekend because I saw someone mention Dragon's Den.
A toilet roll glove.
No. A notebook for shopping, right, in supermarkets where it's done in lines of the aisles. Because when I write my shopping list, so Tamsin writes a shopping list.
What happens when the supermarket changes the aisles round?
Well, then you just do. So you just have the aisles in it. Because because Tamsin writes the food, what we're going to eat that week, and then we do a shopping list, and then I rewrite it in order of what it is when I go into the supermarket, because then I don't miss anything.
Do you like trains and tractors too?
Fucking love it, mate. So I literally, as I walk through, because I know where all the items are in the shop. So what I need is a specific notepad or tablet app where, like, I can just write it in the order.
Yeah.
Because when it's not in order, I miss stuff all the time.
In short, Pridders, I feel slightly sorry for Mikey, but he might be the master of his own fate.
I met a man at the wedding, right, who said he wasn't a nerd. He was adamant that he wasn't a Tismo nerd like the rest of us. And then it came out, really fucking loves cranes. And he talked to me for 10 minutes about the world's biggest crane, which is currently at Hinkley Point.
Phil says, as a channel that is a partner to Games Workshop via their content creator program, do you ever have the option or platform to provide valuable feedback like this? Sort of, kind of, sometimes. Sometimes we get invited to calls where we can ask questions and give feedback. Normally, at the point in which that happens, it's too late. So the product is already coming out. And the feedback we offer is then at that point largely pointless. So we can kind of, but it doesn't really make any difference. Often when they invite us to those calls as well, there are times where we're just not available because they try and have global kind of reach. So for some reason they're more keen to make sure that their calls with creators are at a more reasonable time for everyone around the world than their fucking preview shows. Who knew? Showing that they can do it. But there's been calls before where I'm like, I can't get to either of those because of their timings. But that being said, that is when we would give the feedback, and they do take the feedback, and they're like, yeah, cool, point taken, and that's great, and they listen, and they will engage with you about it and have conversations. So I'll give them credit where credit's due. I've got direct line to GW as well. I give feedback, and sometimes it's listened, and on rare occasions I've seen it actually acted upon. More often than not, though, we get a product. And that product has already gone to print or it's already in production. And when we give feedback at that point, it's too late because it's already in production. It's like, well, it's not going to change. Sometimes it might be, think 9th edition Votan. Sometimes it might be that they then change the rules before the book even comes out because the feedback is so strong. It's quite rare that happens.
Yeah.
So Votan is one of those where most of the creators, apart from those that were involved writing it, went, this is mental. You can't release it like this. It's ridiculous. And they changed the rules before they came out.
We didn't even have a phone call about that, did we?
What, the rules changes?
Votan.
I fed back directly and went, this is fucking
But
mental.
but all the feedback was based on the luckiest thing that ever happened to the Warhammer community at large was that someone leaked that.
Yeah.
If that hadn't been leaked, that would have been...
They might not have changed it, to be fair.
That's the first time Games Workshop ever apologised.
And if people come out in social media in circumstances like that Votan Codex and go, no, it's fine, then you should never trust a word they say. Ben, thank you for the $3.50. I've paid for 2 packs and objectives. Let's see. Well, fingers crossed, mate, they turn up because I know some people have had their orders cancelled because independents have not received enough stock to fulfill all the orders they put up. Brandon, thank you for the $5. You know it's actually scarce when there aren't even that many of the decks available for sale on eBay. Shock horror. That's how you tackle scalpers.
It also means that the people that wanted them actually managed to get hold of them.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Crossed.
But the thing is, though, it's not a limited edition item, is it? So
I don't feel like it has a high scalper fee, really.
So the ones that are on eBay are literally on eBay because someone's bought it and then realised that they could make some money. I don't think they're real scalpers. I think they're just people out to make a quick bit of cash.
Yeah. Chat, we're on 53 members right now. We're 2 away from 55. And Schooner. Good to see you on Friday. And thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you. I hope that Liam agrees to my idea for another channel get-together. Right.
This is the first I've heard about it.
This is the first you're hearing about it.
Okay, good.
Right. Obviously, we did the get-together on Friday.
Yeah.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Schooner. And Dave.
Dave.
I always get Dave.
If you're going to say Warlord Games, I'm going to move on to the next super chat already.
I think I want to do a get-together. You don't have to come to it because you're boring. I want to do a channel arranged get-together where we go to Warlord Games and we have a tour. So he got to meet John Stoddard.
So basically, Schooner, Joe wants to do it with you and Dave again because that's all the people that
I think more other people will come.
Evan, thank you for the $5.
Build it and they will come.
Evan,
we're going to do it. He's agreed to it.
Not in my name.
He hasn't said no.
Not in my name. Evan, thank you for the $5. Full transparency, I only play a few times a year, but I just got my hands on the previous deck 5 months ago. I've been watching 3 different friendly local gaming stores. Thanks for the $5. This is the problem, right? This is the issue with how little they produce. Is some people will have got it. I know people have actually managed to pick the old deck up within the last 3 to 6 months. And there is a slight caveat, Evan, where we do know every 12 months it's going to be changed now. So one could argue, and I don't like it, but one could argue that if you've picked it up in the last 2 to 3 months, you probably knew that one was coming soon-ish. I still don't like the fact that you've had to wait that long simply because it's not that you've waited and gone, oh, I might pick it up now. You just flat couldn't get hold of it.
Yeah.
That's the problem that I have.
So, people like Warlord games, right? When a new edition is coming up for 2 months before the new edition comes out,
Yeah.
they stick all of their books that you can exchange it when the new edition comes out. Or you get like a free version of the new rules kind of thing because it's being changed. But they also, even if they don't do the exchange or the replacement, they still make you aware that it is coming.
Have you seen the thing that sits at the top of the Games Workshop website on a yellow bar?
Lifetime returns and exchanges.
Lifetime returns and exchanges.
What is that about?
I don't know, Jay.
Click on it.
I can't because it's changed now. It must have heard us talking about it. I wonder if it comes down here.
If you go back and then click on it again. Go back and then forward.
It just goes into frequently asked questions.
Oh. But that's mis-selling. If it's not and they go 28 days, that's mis-selling, which means you could technically sue them.
It doesn't say where it refers to. What do you mean by lifetime returns and exchanges? It just goes into the FAQs essentially. Yeah, well there you go. Lifetime returns or exchanges, it says. I'd love to be like, okay, well in that case,
Screenshot it and someone
lifetime returns and exchanges. If your miniature is faulty or missing components when you open it, we'll replace the miniature or component where practical. Additionally, if you want to exchange a current range miniature that you bought directly from us online or in store and have proof of purchase, we'll exchange it. Our promise is above and beyond your statutory rights, which are unaffected. See below for details and conditions. Exchange or replacement. If you have purchased a product from us and it is faulty or missing its parts when you open it, we will exchange or replace the part. We'll need your proof of purchase and proof of defect must be provided on request. So hang on. We will then confirm if you are entitled to a refund or replacement. Please contact customer services about faulty products. We'll refund you any reasonable shipping costs for returning the item. If in doubt, contact us to check your shipping method will be covered. Please check. Can I return an order or item? If for any reason at all you're not satisfied with a purchase from us, you can return it to us for a refund or exchange it for Warhammer virtual gift vouchers for the same value. If the product is faulty, please indicate this with the options provided on our returns portal, and we'll be happy to offer a like-for-like exchange for items which are still part of our range. Lifetime product guarantee. There is no time limit on returning items provided the product is in saleable condition, is part of the current range, is not an excluded product, see below, and you provide proof of purchase. To make a return, use the portal, blah, 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 blah. A full refund will be processed within 3 to 5 days, gift vouchers, etc., etc., nonsense. How long do you have to claim? We strongly recommend that you open and check you're happy with the products as soon as they arrive. However, we do accept returns over 14 days after purchase in the following situations. For faulty products, if you provide proof of purchase. For non-faulty products, if the product is part of the current range, in saleable condition, you provide proof of purchase. What is the current range? Well, I think that's pretty obvious.
Proof of purchase from them?
Yeah. On sale on warhammer.com at the point which you return. All returns notified to us within a fortnight of purchase are automatically treated as being in current range. What is saleable condition? Packaging in a very good condition. All components included and still on the sprue. Cellophane is not required, so no problem if that has been removed. Watch products are excluded. The following types of products are excluded from the offer: returns, cancellations, unless they are faulty. Digital products tailored to order, limited edition products bought in person at a GW Warhammer store or GW event, including event only, store exclusive, limited edition, special edition, or equivalent products. Right. A purchase from us is a purchase direct from the GW Warhammer store or from warhammer.com, or legacy orders from gamesworkshop.com or forgeworld.com. Our promise and our returns policy do not apply to purchases from elsewhere, independents. If you purchase from elsewhere, you will need to approach the seller to resolve your returns. Right, so Admech Codex.
Yeah.
It's faulty. It's wrong. It's not a cellophane. Return it. Lifetime guarantee. Not excluded.
It's a real fucking grey area.
Isn't it?
Right, because it's technically not faulty in the sense that those are the original rules, and FAQs are just competitive, are of the moment changes.
It's not.
But right. I know how Games Workshop work.
It's not faulty, is a technicality, right?
The book isn't faulty in the sense that the cardboard and the pages aren't broken. What's printed on it doesn't fucking matter. right? You've bought a rectangle of paper and cardboard covered in ink.
But logically speaking, if you've bought a codex and you haven't used the code on the app, so it's still they can resell the codex. They can resell the codex, and like Votan in 9th, like Admech, based on lifetime returns and guarantees. Surely, you could argue. There is an argument to say. I'd love for a legal person to pick this up. There's an argument to say this is a faulty product. Because if you have to bring out pages of rules and updates to make that thing functional in the current game system, it's a faulty product. Right?
Potentially. Games Workshop really operates in a grey area, right? Because by that wording, right, if you can get a bank statement for a Bretonian Green Knight that was bought 30 years ago, you can exchange it now.
If it's in saleable condition.
If it's still in the box, yeah. If it's still in the box, unused, on a shelf, you can technically sell it back to them. But also, someone said earlier, if you you could do it with warp spiders, but you can't because they're in plastic now.
I'm going to do a Joe now. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
But I think there are ways around it.
I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting concept, at least. So you're never going to win that. To be clear, you're never going to win that. If you go to Games Workshop and say, I'm going to return my Admech Codex because you give me lifetime returns and guarantees, and it's actually not a functional codex, which I think is true, and I think it could be argued that means it is a bullshit product that shouldn't still be for sale. Because if you go to any event, and Games Workshop have pushed hard into being the forefront of their own competitive events anymore. They've taken it off of ITC. They've taken it off of Frontline. They run it themselves now. So to go to a Games Workshop event and play the latest mission deck, up to date, you would need to use the latest version of the Admech rules, which are available for download, because your codex is incorrect. You're never going to win this argument. But
because the guys are talking about the code in chat, the code then allows you to have access to correct rules.
Yeah.
So the book is technically not wrong, because it does actually give you access to the newest version of the rules, which are downloadable in the app. What it doesn't do is give you access to the app to make multiple lists, but you can still build one list if you don't pay for the app. So it is technically available and usable. But what this does mean, right, is if you bought, say, not to give people ideas, because I do think this policy is a terrible idea because people will do this. Say you can prove that you bought a Land Raider 10 years ago, right? There is no way for Games Workshop to be able to prove that you didn't open that Land Raider until yesterday, at which point you probably could have bought a second-hand Land Raider and say that the sprue for the sponsons is missing. There's no way Games Workshop can prove that. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So, by the wording of their website, you can technically get a new sprue for your Land Raider.
Oh, I've had that. I've done that. But in genuine circumstances.
Yeah, but in genuine. But there will be people that aren't genuine.
Of course.
Not that Games Workshop won't upset, because I've just given everyone an idea. Because you just buy second-hand stuff of things that you already own, and you can prove that you bought it.
I wonder where it goes. Let's say you were a Chaos Space Marine player.
Yeah.
And just before 10th edition, you bought a Khitan, but you didn't build it. It stayed in the box. Still sellable.
Yeah.
Still currently on sale.
Yeah.
Still sellable condition, not been opened. But the second that they went, it's all gone Legends, well, you could go, fuck it, have it back then. Fuck you.
Yeah, so stuff that goes Legends is you can probably return it if it's still in sellable condition.
It's interesting, isn't it? I saw that the other day, lifetime returns and exchanges. I was like, that's a fucking bold move in this hobby when you keep getting all your rules wrong and etc.
Yeah,
I think there's grey areas there. I think we're never going to win that one, but I feel like it's interesting because I would argue that so many of their products come out. But I get what you were saying when I walked away. The second you have a code and you can put that code into an app which updates with the live updated rules, they kind of go, we'll give you the latest version.
My idea is that if you bought an Admech Codex now, there, and you don't use the code, there is grounds for being able to return it. Because the rules have changed since release. If you bought the Admech Codex when it was released, the rules were right at the time.
What if you
bought a product that was correct?
What if you bought the Space Wolves data cards that came out on release that said that a Dreadnought had 5 wounds?
But they FAQ'd it on release.
The card's faulty because it's misprinted.
Well, it is misprinted, yeah, so you could get it returned. But you can't return them now.
No, well.
Now they've changed the
policy. Lifetime. Yeah, there you go. I just thought it was interesting. Sorry.
But the thing is, though, with Warhammer, things go in and out of popularity and usability.
So I think with Warhammer, the reason why they are prepared to state lifetime returns and guarantees is they know that most people, when they buy most of their products, are tearing into the cellophane, putting codes on the app, or snipping bits off the sprue straight away. And they're like, well, it's not a saleable condition.
But the greatness of this thing here is if you buy your Admech Codex at a discount from Element, you can't return it.
Yeah, of course.
You can only return it to Element. It's down to their...
Which I think is right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right that Games Workshop should have to fulfill returns for independents because that's not how it works. The independents bought it from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So Dan, thank you for the $5. Thank you both for Joe Hammer at Warhammer World on Friday. Lovely to meet you, Dan. Was amazing. Great to meet so many people. Can't wait to do more, even if my Emperor's Children got absolutely bumfucked. Is that not what they enjoy?
No Emperor's Children at Warlord.
Joe, there'll be 4 people going to Warlord, mate.
And we'll have a wonderful time. Do you know what we won't get at Warlord? Food poisoning.
I didn't get food poisoning.
Well, you lucky duck.
Yeah.
I didn't have the poops that caused some people to leave.
I also didn't eat from the van, to be fair. I went home and had a gym meal.
It annoyed me that I missed out on the bacon sandwiches. Because if I'd got there to the food van like 10 minutes earlier, I would have had a bacon sandwich and not been ill.
We are now on 64 members, chat. We're 1 away from 65. Thank you, Tribune, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Tribune. I hope that you learn to make an incredible quiche.
I love a good quiche.
I don't really like quiche, but I had a banging quiche yesterday.
Did you?
It was freshly made, and I was like, this is good. I don't like store-bought quiche, but homemade quiche, done right.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you so much, Pridders, for the $10. He says, the twists and asymmetric missions make me feel like they specifically wanted a Crusade Light section to the pack. Pick up and play something narrative without the Crusade admin. Love it. 100% agree with you, Pridders.
Yeah.
You sexual human. Good to see you on Friday as well.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. And I think people have picked up a mission deck and gone, oh, we've got to use all of these things all the time. No, you don't have to. But I think for the casual player who wants to just muck about with his mates, these are amazing. Yeah. Game-changing, in fact, quite literally. And I agree with you completely. We're now on 65 chats, just 5 to get to 70. Thank you so much, Harborn, Mr. Vortex Games, ! Vortex in chat, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Harborn Game. It's very generous of you. I hope that you get the entire stock allocation of things that you order for the rest of the year, starting now.
Basically, the hope you give him all the time.
And I hope that you have an attractive customer that gives you blowjobs all the time.
I hope that you're putting all these gifteds through as a business expense for advertising. Because every time you give us members, we go, hey, ! Vortex, check out Vortex Games if you're in Canada and buy all your stuff from them using that link because it supports us.
Also, Vortex, whilst we've got you,
so it's advertising budget.
Can you make a swirly dirly? We don't have a swirly dirly for that.
Little video.
Yeah, we haven't got, you're the only one we don't have a
video splash
animation for.
Talking about Mr. Vortex, thank you for the $2. I tried fun once. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Definitely sound like a Warhammer player.
Rigid. Missionary position all the time, eyes closed, light off.
Yeah. Sai, thank you for the $5. Wasn't it Sai's wedding you went to?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Simon.
Yeah, it was a really good wedding, right? And what made it good, there wasn't just cake, is they also had Krispy Kreme donuts for everyone as well. I had 2.
I wasn't invited.
No. Because you don't invite him to your house to play Warhammer.
I have said he can come to my house.
Yeah.
Has he not been in here to play Warhammer? Is this not my house?
This isn't your house, but he has been here.
It's my house.
I invited him though. You didn't.
I let him here.
You said it's such an ambivalent God, aren't you? It was great. It was a lovely wedding actually. It was good. I was invited as the mighty few. You know.
Thank you for the $5 anyway, Si, you legend. I want twists in competitive 40k so I can watch my Warlord Superman all over the table. I want twists in 40k, but I think it's a bad idea. So I do want them there. But I don't think it makes competitive 40k competitive.
No.
So I think perhaps what's more reasonable to say is I want them at some events, but probably not ITC registered events.
I really like it. I think it's incredible. I like the idea of Abaddon just going around just battering people. What does become scary is people who are already good becoming mental good.
Yeah.
Right? Be'lakor, with more attacks being able to fly through walls with no real problems, that's terrifying. But then it's like the reason why they're not part of competitive 40k is that you can't balance them.
Yeah, they're skewed.
They're so skewed. So you can't try and balance a game on the twists and stuff because it's physically impossible.
But we'll be using them.
Right. It's like
if you don't like them, stay at home.
It's like going into one of those crazy fun houses with all the mirrors and the revolving stuff that's difficult to climb around in, right? You know what you're signing up for in advance. You know you're getting into insanity.
Thank you so much, Spruggly, for the $5. Wolves. Give me all the Space Wolf streams, game streams, chat streams, Space Wolf hot tub streams. Cover me with your Space Wolf juices. I'm here for that. I like that.
You really lean into my saying that Space Wolf players are a bit different.
Yeah.
They're just a bit.
I love Space Wolves.
Yeah?
I love them. The models, Joe, are just...
They are not. They've got Space Wolf heads down to a fucking...
They've nailed them, haven't they?
I've been I was sat there with a bag of bits in my hand this weekend, trying to convince myself not to do Space Wolves, and I failed. I was failing hard. I really want to do... I've got the bits where I want to... I'm not really fussed about playing Space Wolves. I just want to build and paint really sexy Space Wolf models. And then I end up with an army of them. Because they're kind of like everything that I want the White Scars to be. Supported, for a start. Yeah.
Awkward. I reckon though, if you hold off and you don't do wolves and you're patient, I reckon things like White Scars and Salamanders and stuff are going to get support.
You were going to say if you wait 6 months, you'll get mine.
No, you won't. It's not fucking happening, mate.
Just follow the narrative of the last...
It's not happening. Not fucking happening, Joe. Sorry, thank you for the one gifted. Ash, thank you for the $2. Went to Warhammer World. Liam embezzled me out of 340 quid, 2 out of 10. No. That's not what happened, Ash. Right? You bought that escort that you paid to pretend to be your girlfriend so you could convince everyone that you actually had another half and you just
She was a good quality one, though.
Well,
one of the good ones. Didn't look like a crack addict.
I feel like 340 quid you probably overpaid.
So,
just to try and prove that you don't wank into a sock every night. It's your fault and it's on you. What are you arguing about?
It's a bit harsh on her, isn't it, really? She was a lovely person.
I'm not saying she wasn't.
Yeah. I'd say 340 quid was quite cheap. I've watched Pretty Woman. He spent a fucking fortune on her.
To be fair, to convince anyone to go with Ash, you probably need to do at least double it and add one. Yeah.
Or he could have spent that money on his car.
Rum, thank you for the one gifted. We are now on 70. You've got 10 to go to catch up with the last night crew. Altheus, is that right? Altheus? Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
I hope that you learn and have the financial stability to become one of those self-sustaining people that grows all the plants and has all the animals and the fish and stuff, where you don't have to rely on society anymore. You could just be like one of those, they're called ender welders or whatever.
Lunatics. One of those lunatics.
Yeah, but normal. enough.
Are you a normal lunatic?
Like, you have a normal job, but you have a system at your home where chickens shit into plants and those plants then feed fish, you know?
That's how
But you wear a suit to work.
Eagles Fly, thank you for the one gifted. Cray, thank you for the orange one for the 2,000 Japanese yen. Every store in Japan has pretty much said they are sold out and got maybe a handful of decks. Games Workshop wants me to commit Sudoku or something here.
That's not the right word. Sudoku's the numbers game, isn't it?
It's a numbers game, yeah. Yeah. I think most independents really struggle with stock levels, to be fair, Cray. Like a lot of independents struggle with stock levels. I know a bunch of super small independents who happen to allow people to pre-order before the pre-order. Naughty, naughty.
Oh, remember, Joe, Ash is an awful gamer. They look nothing alike, yet
They don't know
them all the time.
They don't know. So yeah.
sorry, TJ.
So yeah, Cray. There's shops in this country that were allowing people to place their orders before the pre-orders, which I don't like that practice. I'm going to be throwing this out there now. We will not be doing that as Hobby House because it's just bullshit. Things will go on pre-order the way that things are supposed to go on pre-order, and everyone will get a fair chance. Anyway. Those people were basically, even when they're going out to their small audience of people and selling out in seconds and going, we've got no stock. So.
What was the joke?
Thanks, Craig, for the 2,000 anyway. Gremlin Death 68, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
I hope people don't bully you on the internet.
Strong.
One for the modern day.
Strong.
And also things I live through on a daily basis.
On a daily basis?
Yeah. The problem is, right, these people, for some weird reason, think that you're cool.
They don't.
Right?
That's not what
they
they think.
Everything you say.
They don't think I'm
cool.
cool.
Which means I get a lot of shit from people I don't know.
There's no one thinks I'm cool.
Committing Sudoku. The numbers game.
The Springies, thank you.
I know there's the stabby one. Well, that's Harry Carey, wasn't it? Is that where you chop off the wing wangs?
The Springies for the 5 gifted memberships.
Springies?
Yeah, the Springies.
I hope, the Springies, that you get to have a 2-hour train journey with Brian Blessed. You're just there on a train.
Evan, thank you for the 1 gifted. Chris Sayer, thank you for the 1 gifted. You're both legends. Dave WK, Andrew's mate, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
I hope that you become a really good swimmer.
I wasn't sure then if you were thinking of passing wind.
No, I was thinking.
Were you?
I was thinking, yeah.
Okay. Right, cool. Thank you, Cray, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Seppuku. Thank you. Someone tells me. Because I was like, what is... Counting to... 9, isn't it? It's 7. The numbers have to add up to 9 or 7 in every direction. That's Sudoku. Is it 10 or 11? What's the number?
Anyway, thank you to Cray for the 5 gifted memberships.
Yeah, but now I have questions that need answering. Is it 7, 10, 11?
You will see the head of my order.
Yeah. Cray.
Yes. We're on 70, chat.
I hope, Cray, that you make a dangerous yet evocative choice on your clothing style one day. And you create a new fashion when you go out and people are like, damn, that's a sharp-dressed man with an actual car tyre around his waist. I don't know. That's just an idea. Don't use that one.
Thank you, Brandon Lagasse. For 5 gifted memberships.
I hope, Brandon, that you get a opening night ticket to the new Fantastic Four film, but the people on both sides of you don't turn up.
Bag in. Loads of space. That sounds good. I'm into
Yeah.
it. And then finally, we have a $5 from Ash, because you lot aren't going to get to 100 again, who says, Joe, for the better half. Well, there's no point carrying on, is it? Because you make believe. For the better half, Toxicrene, Venomthrope, Harpy, or the box of 2 Carnifexes. Presume Zoan to Venom is not an easy magnetize.
No, it's not.
It's an impossible magnetize.
It's not impossible. It's just really shit to do. I think I really like the Toxicrene rules. His just model is a fucking nightmare to work with.
Is he the wibbly ones?
Yeah, because he's got really good rules. He just doesn't. If you build him the way Games Workshop tells you to, he does not function on the table. He can't fit between fucking buildings.
You missed him. You should have said to him, do that one. Just to watch him struggle with it.
I would go with the 2 Carnifexes personally, because you could make one old One Eye and one just a normal Carnifex, and just buy another box of 2 Carnifexes. And
they're also Carnifexes, so they're just cooler than everything else on the
I
list.
fucking love Carnifexes. They're so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with the 2 Carnifexes. Or if you can be adventurous in fixing the wibbly arms on the Toxicrene, he's also not a terrible shout. I'm thinking about getting one. I've been looking around on the internet on people who have converted them.
Cope says none of the above. Exocrine is the correct choice. I mean, yeah, from a rules perspective, it is. Absolutely. Colton D then comes in at the end, Joe, with 5 gifted memberships to get us to 75.
I hope that you get picked to be a new character in EastEnders.
Is Colton even in England?
No, just move him over.
And then Craig comes in with 5 gifted to match last night's team. Last night's team only got to 80 as well. So
Did they?
Yeah. Matched.
And we've got 342 people, but only 179 likes.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Craig's a second hope, though, Joe. He's already got his tyre on, cutting around sharply dressed.
Yeah.
20 away from 100, chat. Just one person doing 20. Done. Nailed. Nipped. Finished. Sorted.
I hope that every food shop near you gives out free samples on the front door all the time.
Well, they're fucking waking up now, aren't they? Look at that. Hamlin, who we met on Friday.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. You legend.
Hamlin. I hope that you find a way to legally ride a giant tortoise around town, to work.
In Nottingham.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And yeah, you could put one on a Segway and then ride on its back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hamlin, for the 5 gifted. You fucking beautiful human. A topic for next time. Thank you, Craig, for the 1,000 Japanese yen. A topic for next time. How to make missile launchers better. They're one of my favourite weapons aesthetically. 2 shots on the anti-tank, perhaps. They're always a bit underwhelming, aren't they? It's just anti-infantry blast, not very good. Anti-tank, not very good.
The problem with the Humble missile launcher is that the las cannon has just always been better.
Yeah.
And the things that carry missile launchers are pretty shit. Right? So if you look at the best version of the missile launcher is the one that goes on the Terminators, the Cyclone. It's 2 shots. And it's on a Terminator. Whereas the only things that really carry missile launchers are tactical Marines and what are they fucking called? Havocs.
I feel like
Havocs,
what's happened though is they go, well, your trade-off of versatility is they're not quite as good as other things at doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, but you get to use either. But they're just shit.
I think they missed it with Desolation Marines. They missed a point, and they should have just made them normal missile launchers.
Yeah,
like missile launchers that maybe have rapid fire. So if you're in half range, you get 2 shots, or they're like melter.
I miss also the thing is with Desolation Marines and with Havocs. I miss the old Mark 7 tactical squad way of building missile launchers on models. I don't want some guy with his arm out to the side like this with one arm on a. I want missile launcher up, hand steadying missile launcher.
I'd give the frag version like anti-infantry.
3+.
Yeah, anti-infantry 3+. And then it becomes viable against Horde.
Soup says, hot take, Desolators don't actually look that bad. You're fucking drunk.
They're really good if you convert them.
They're really good if you don't build them as intended. Yeah. We've had Peachy sat here who said they should never have got past quality audit in the building. Or
I think you make missile launchers flat damage 4. Because the las cannon is D6 plus 1, right? Or Dark Lance is D6 plus 2. Right? You've got having one shot that's only D6 damage is really unreliable, especially at AP2. Whereas if you make it flat damage 4 in a unit of Havocs or Devastators, right, it becomes an incredibly viable option. And it actually makes it a choice because you go heavy bolters damage 2, AP 1, auto cannons damage 3, 2 shots, AP 1, or missile launcher 1 shot, AP 2, flat damage 4. Las cannon 1 shot, but it's strength 12, AP 3, D6 plus 1. Sliding scale of weapons, and it becomes a good choice.
Yeah, maybe. I think having the missile launchers be a bit better at doing what they're supposed to do. Not great. I don't want them to be better at killing infantry than flamers because they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But having them be a bit better, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe have them hit on 4s but be heavy. You know.
Thanks. I feel like damage 4 is too much for them as well. But thanks, Adam, for the 5 gifted memberships. You wonderful human being. We also met him on Friday.
I hope that you never develop an allergy to your own tears. They're not all good. But as Gamer says, a missile launcher doing the same damage as a Doomsday cannon. I'm not drunk, right? Because what actually carries a missile launcher in the game? 2 wound infantry. You could take 1 in a unit of Terminators, and you get 1 on the what's it called? The Ballistas Dreadnought. They're not on super tough units, so they're easy to kill. Don't forget, when a guy who needs to be able to shoot 26, 38, whatever inches, right? It still has to be able to see you, which means you can see him, and he's a lot weaker than a massive tank.
Lucky set his hands down, the shittest one I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Poor old Dave.
Someone has to get the worst one to realise that there is a sliding scale.
Not Dave. Poor old Adam. Not Dave.
Can I go now? Because I'm about to piss my pants.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say goodbye now.
Right, you wonderful human beings. This deck, if you get the chance to get your hands on it and you haven't, get your hands on it because it's fucking incredible. We'll be showing it off on stream tonight. We'll be showing it off on stream for the next 12 months, actually, until the new edition launches, which will be the next thing that comes out, obviously, instead of a new mission deck. Thank you so much for watching the show. You people are amazing. We did hit 90 members in the end there, which is much better than what I thought we were going to do, but we also did an extra half an hour, 40 minutes for you people. So hopefully you've enjoyed the show and you've enjoyed the conversation. Yeah. I think twists are fine, especially if they're for narrative and fun play rather than for tournament play. I'm very excited about challenge cards. I think they've fixed all the secondaries or most of the secondaries. Primaries were fine anyway. I'm really excited about the next 12 months of gaming with this particular mission deck. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the content as well. We do have a live game this evening where we're going to be previewing the brand new Space Wolves.
Awooka.
I can't wait for that. Paddy's going to be in the house. Me and Paddy will be playing. Joe will be on the deck, so you can abuse him on the deck. Many super chats with really difficult things to pronounce would be great. I think that's everything from us right now, though. I need to go pretty quickly so Joe doesn't wee in his pants in my nice chair. Hopefully we'll see you this evening. If not, we do have the Warhammer show tomorrow at 7:30 in the evening. We have another Liam and Joe show on Thursday, plus another live game in the evening and after dark on Friday. that's everything, I think, from us for now. Thank you so much for your incredible support. You guys are always amazing. If you haven't, hit that like button before you disappear, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.